Growing up, I wanted to be a doctor, but then I failed additional mathematics in my final year of high school and I had to say goodbye to my childhood dreams. I didn't realize it then, but that was just the beginning of my butterfly effect. After graduating high school at 17, I decided to take a year off to figure out what I wanted to do. Despite not knowing for sure, I knew I wanted to be in the science field. So at 19 years old, I started my A-levels in biology, chemistry, and psychology. I did my first exams in June, and then I was going to do my second exam in June the next year, but due to financial constraints, my parents could not afford to pay my fees on time. And upon discussions with my college, they decided that I could take the next exam, which would be 6 months later in November. But when the time came and we were going to pay for the fees, I was informed that the validity of my first exam was only 1 year, which means from June to June. And that if I wanted to take the second exam, I would have to do the first exam all over again. My mom and I bawled our eyes out in the middle of the college. There were people all around us, we didn't care. We were absolutely devastated. 2 years of my life, 3 if you count the gap year, felt like it went to absolute waste. And it's not just the time, but the money as well. I didn't know what to do with myself. I fell into a deep depression. It was a very difficult time for me. I had no idea what my future was going to be like. But with everything in life, you kind of just have to take things in stride and move forward. So that's what I did. At the age of 21, I started over again. I decided to self-study my A-levels because I could not afford to pay for an additional year or 2 years of tuition fees. And I stayed at home and I studied everything on my own. I decided I would take the first exam in June and the second exam in November that year, so cram everything into 1 year. And it was a very difficult time for me. I was isolated because all of my friends had moved on to university, so they were in different states. And I was at home basically 24/7. I was motivated, but no matter how hard I tried, I could never seem to do well enough in the sciences. When my results finally came out, chemistry was average, biology was good, but psychology was amazing. To self-study A-level psychology within 1 year and to get an A star, that was no easy feat. So I was ecstatic. And I figured that becoming a clinical psychologist would be as close to becoming a doctor as I could possibly be without a medical degree. So I decided that would be my path. And then at the age of 22, years behind everyone else in my class, I began a bachelor's degree in psychology, only to quickly realize how much I did not want to be a clinical psychologist. Reality did not match up with fantasy. I cried my way through every abnormal psychology class. I had no idea what I wanted to do, but this was not it. So I knew I had to use the rest of my time at university to figure out what is it that I actually wanted. During my 3-year degree, an internship was a requirement, so I decided to do it at a nonprofit organization championing women's rights. But little did I know, they were actually just looking for youngsters to up their social media game. And so my internship in social media began. I learned to do content research, scripting, filming, editing, caption writing. None of it had anything to do with what I was studying, but it was so much fun and I was inspired. I actually began filming and editing videos to post on my own Instagram. Fast forward to 2023 and I am 25 years old. After a lot of research and all of my experiences, I decided that I would like to be in the media and communications field. So I decided to do 2 things. First of all, I applied for a master's degree in communications. Secondly, I applied for a social media internship that I can do while waiting for my acceptance. So after my final exam of university, which was on a Friday, I began my 3-month social media internship on the Tuesday the very next week. It was fun, it was creative, I worked remotely, so I had all the flexibility in the world. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was close. And halfway through my internship, I got the email that I was waiting for. Congratulations! It is my pleasure to offer you admission to the 3-year pathway to mass communications. I had to read that email again. Apparently, because my 3-year psychology degree was not equivalent to a 4-year bachelor's degree in that country, I was not able to go straight into a master's degree. I would have to do an additional 1 year of undergraduate degree at their university, and if I do well enough, then I would be offered admission to their master's degree. That was something I needed time to think about, so I just continued on with my internship, and not much later, my boss actually offered me a full-time position at her company, and she said she would get back to me about the salary. So I said, okay, sure, I'll think about it, because at this point, a full-time job sounded a lot more secure and appealing than having to go back to university for an additional year and maybe be offered a master's degree. So I said okay to the full-time job offer. But then she comes back to me and says, actually, would you be willing to do another month of internship? And I was annoyed and confused, but she gave me a bunch of reasons and I had to think about it because I didn't have anything else lined up. I really put all of my eggs into this one basket, and my other option, which was the master's degree, wasn't particularly appealing, even though it was an option that I really wanted. So I said yes to doing another month of internship, but only if she increased my salary for that month. And she comes back to me saying, unfortunately, we're gonna be parting ways. I was devastated. At that point, I genuinely could not imagine why nothing was going right for me. But at least I had my master's degree offer, or not, because they then proceed to rescind my offer. Apparently, they were moving their master's degree online, so that particular master's degree was not eligible for a 3-year pathway program. To say that I cried every single day during this period would be an understatement. It actually felt like the universe was working against me. But it's true when they say that rejection is redirection, because the path that I have taken from the day that I failed additional mathematics in my final year of high school up until getting my job offer and university acceptance offer revoked has led me to this beautiful, fulfilled life that I'm currently living. After that social media internship, I began a 5-month public relations internship, and I'm now working as a client executive at a PR agency, doing work that I actually enjoy and I'm actually good at. I work remotely, which has afforded me the ability to be just about anywhere in the world that I want to. Ever since starting at this company, I have traveled to Taiwan, Cambodia, Hong Kong, Macau, Japan, Sri Lanka, South Korea, and to Singapore 3 times. I watched my favorite football team play live in Singapore, and I was front row at both Coldplay and Taylor Swift's concerts. My full circle moment happened when I got this Instagram DM from a girl who I knew throughout high school, and it reminded me that this was everything I had been working towards since forever. She said, "It's great to see you live your dreams of traveling. That's what you talked about most in school." And she was right. That really was all I ever wanted. If I had done well in additional mathematics in high school, I would have gone on to study medicine, struggling my way through all of the sciences that I was never really good at anyway, and I never would have the life that I have right now. And if my second internship did not rescind my job offer, then I would still be in social media instead of in communications or public relations, which I actually see myself doing even in the future. And if my master's acceptance was not rescinded, then I never would have gotten this job at this place, which allows me so much freedom and the ability to just travel the world and live a life that I truly love, and one where I feel at peace and fulfilled. My life can still be chaotic at times. It has its ups and downs. I sometimes cry in the bathroom when I'm incredibly stressed. But despite the daily stresses of life, overall, existentially, I am okay. And that's not something I have had the privilege of being able to say at any point in my life. I followed my excitement and it led me to peace and fulfillment. This, I now understand, is the essence of the butterfly effect. Every small step influencing my life in ways that I never could have imagined. And so in some strange, beautiful way, failing that math exam wasn't just the end of a dream. It was the beginning of discovering what makes my soul come alive. And that really did change my life.